All right, let's talk about Magnific AI, what it is and what you use it for. Magnific started out just being an upscaler, meaning it would take an image and make it super high res, and it would help sharpen it and improve all the details within an image. Those details could be people, vegetation, materials, lighting, you name it. So here's a rendering I did in D5 before, and then this is what Magnific is doing. So it's very, very subtle, but let me zoom in. So I'm going to zoom in right on this plant. Look at what it's doing to all the details here. See how it's making everything look much more photorealistic? If I go down here to my fruit here, see how it's just sharpening everything? Even the details of the vegetation here look great. The material, see the metal? Look at that. Look at all those details. This is before and this is after. So you kind of get the idea of like why you would want to use this. So instead of me spending more time improving the render, I can actually run it through this to get much better results in just 30 seconds. Let me show you what it does to Enscape people. So this is just a crowd of people. This is before, and then this is after. So you see, it's actually making them look much more realistic. So let's say right here, see how everything looks much more defined? Skin looks much better, hair looks much better. But it's not perfect. There's definitely some weird things, like assets just changing genders and everything, but overall, it does a much better job than leaving it as default assets. So that's why it's a great workflow to just run renders through this instead of just leaving them as default. So how does this work? You upload an image first. So I'm gonna upload that kitchen before. You choose a scale factor, basically how big do you want it to be? 2 times, 4 times. Then what are you optimizing it for? Standard, I think in general is actually really good and I use it for most times, but since I do a lot of 3D rendering, this is a good idea and it's optimized for that. So these are just different models that are being loaded. So if you're someone who's working on, landscape photography, you'd probably switch to this. How this works is it's looking at different things that live within that model. So landscape will be like mountains and trees, like it's focused on that. So when it sees something, oh, okay, it's talking about that. 3D renders, it's gonna help improve like the materials and lightings, the thing that we typically deal with. Then portraits, this is optimized for people, so it'll enhance skin and hair better. So that's what these guys are. But generally, I leave it at 3D. The prompt, in all my testing, very, very minor influence. So watch this. If I put sunset in here, and then we render it, you'll see that there's not gonna be a big difference, but let's play with some settings. The first setting is creativity. How creative do you want this to be? I don't recommend going beyond 3. You can go all the way to 10, but things are gonna get really weird. I think 3 is a good balance of preserving your original image and just adding some nice new details. HDR, all about detail and definition. So I usually leave this at about 1. Resemblance, this is how much do you want to preserve the original structure of the image. I usually leave this at 1. And then fractality is basically the way they explain it is, let's say you've got a rose. If you increase the fractality, you're gonna get more thorns. So it's gonna add more detail in a smaller area. I usually leave this around 0 or 1, but let's run this and you'll see what happens. And how this works is you have a certain amount of credits, right? So I start off with 2,500 a month. Every time I do a generation based on the original image's file size, there's a cost. So to upscale this, it's gonna cost me 15. So I'm gonna hit upscale. And now it's going to start generating. So while that's working, I want to show you the style transfer workflow. I find this one to be really useful. All the other ones, they're okay. Relight will change the time of day. So if you've got a sunny image, you want to make it nighttime, it's okay. I don't think it's perfect. And then Mystic is like their version of Midjourney. So that's like text to image generation. This is okay too. I don't think it's a Midjourney replacement, but it's nice to have in one spot. So how this works is I'm going to drag in my kitchen here. And I'm going to drag in a reference image. This is the image I'll be using. And you can see it's a cute little watercolor. So I'm going to drag this over here. And I can give it a prompt if I want. But the idea is I want to take my reference image style and apply it to the kitchen rendering. So I've got 2 options here, style strength and structure strength. Style strength is what do you want from your style or reference image? Do you want the actual element? So when I talk about elements, do we want like the house or do we want the watercolor? In this case, I want the watercolor. So it's a little unintuitive, but I actually want to lower this to about 20 because if I have it at 100, it's actually going to put elements of my reference image into my kitchen, which I don't want. I just want the media, right? Then structure strength is how much do you want to preserve of your original image So I want to keep this at 90. Again, I always like to give the AI a little bit of creativity. That way it can experiment. This is not a portrait, so I'm going to leave this off, and then I'm okay with it being faithful and balanced. And these are generally much cheaper than the upscales. So I'm going to hit transfer, and that's going to be added to the queue as well. Let's say you generated an image before and you felt like the settings were perfect. You can actually look back and see what you used on those settings, and you can actually copy them right from here. So if you click this, you can either reuse the parameters, so that's all these settings, reuse the original image, or reuse the final image. So this is like the original image, and then this is the final image, and it'll literally just slot right in here. So here we've got our 3D render, a little bit of creativity, low resemblance, and I said sunset. So you see how it's not doing much. I'm getting a little bit of color, but you see how it's not like overhauling the whole image. So I feel like it does like 10 to 15% of a tweak. You know, we're getting some oranges there. So I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but don't expect a whole overhaul of the image. Then we've got our style transfer. This I think came out beautiful, right? So again, we gave it this image and it took the style of that and applied it on our kitchen here. So this is a really easy way to just make your images look different. So if you don't want to do the 3D render look, you don't need to do that. You can just use a reference image and it'll tweak that. And overall, this is really nice. So what I do is, because the style transfer and read light doesn't do a super high res image as the output, I'll actually switch to the upscaler. I'll click this and then I'll reuse the final image. So the final image is my watercolor. So then from there, I can actually just change this to art and illustration, and I'll leave all this the same, and then I'll upscale this. So now I'm upscaling the watercolor. So while that's baking, you know, let's just take a look at what's happening. You can see it completely changed some of the assets, but it gives it that really nice watercolor look. Like if I were early on in a design project and I don't have all the details fleshed out, like this is a really nice way to present. So here, it refined the details. Like look at that, look at how much sharper that looks. And this is kind of what I was talking about with the fractality. It's going to add a little bit more detail here. So if I lowered this to 0 and lowered the resemblance and the HDR, we're going to see a massive difference as to how it's handling each of those individual brush strokes. And we're getting some weird things here, but that's AI for you. So you see how this is so much smoother now? So that's what's happening with those settings. So that's why I was saying, like fractality, I kind of leave it at 0 or 1 depending on what I need. This, since I don't want too much detail because I want it to keep it loose, because again, it's watercolor, that's why I would lower that. So that's it for Magnific. I think it's a fantastic tool to include in your workflow. I think of it as like a polish pass before you go into Photoshop, just to enhance all those details or just change the style of it. Anyways, if you have any questions about Magnific, please drop a comment below. See you next time.